Hi everyone! Thank you so much for tuning into my tarot channel. Yay! I have a reading for anyone who's interested. If you would like to get a private reading, you can email me and I'll put my email below. It's very affordable, and in fact, it's pretty much a sliding scale fee. And I love working with people, so this is a timeless reading, which I never say, but I just felt like saying it because I have a feeling that someone will look at this in a while, like beyond this time period, and be like, hey, is this a timeless reading? And I'll be, if they watch it, they'll see me being like, yeah, this is a timeless reading. So I just was like thinking of a couple things I wanted to talk about, and I don't know if this will be super long, but hey, I don't really know how things will go. It might be longer than I thought. But yeah, I'm just getting an ending feeling, like a feeling of something coming to a close. I'm feeling like a relationship is ending, and there's a feeling of like fear, and I also feel like this person may have either ghosted you or, you know, shut you out, and, you know, maybe they slowly drifted away, but this person removed themselves from your life. And death in tarot is a rebirth. It relates to Scorpio. So there's something here that's ending, and I don't think you want it to, and I think it's scary, and I think you may have tried for some time to keep it alive. There may have been something here that had to do with like an actual death. I don't know, maybe one or you or the other party lost someone, and that made them or you vulnerable. Or also this could be death of something bigger, like this relationship ending could be coming on the coattails of something greater ending in your life. This is about communication, fast communication. So this ending, it's almost like it's coming in just now, like it's just clear to you now that this is what the situation is, and you may have like it may be all of a sudden that this is either communicated to you or understood or comprehended. This person that you're dealing with has some obsessive control issues, and I think they may have some stuff. I'm hearing liar, liar, pants on fire. I knew it was a child's rhyme that I was hearing, but it was, I'm also hearing sticks and stones may break my bones, but words never hurt me. So there may have been something combative in this relationship where this person was like sort of putting you down, or maybe they were combative with communication, like maybe they withheld or stonewalled different periods of time. You are in a place now where you're able to let go of something that you've held on to tightly, something that you were like, no, it's mine. And now you're just starting to realize that you're better off letting this go. I just was thinking of the state Idaho. I don't know why. I try to put everything in the reading. I know it's a little bit out there, but I don't know if maybe you want to travel across the country if you're on the other side of the country. Or Idaho is about potatoes. There could be like some vitamin K need that keeps coming up in my readings. Or just like, you know, potatoes, they are a nightshade. So they're not recommended for people with autoimmunity, but it's kind of one of those things where you're like, I gotta eat something. Okay, so I'm hearing that here with this relationship, that maybe you were like, this isn't exactly how I want things to go, the way things have been going, but you've been putting up with, or, you know, settling for some behavior with someone else that, you know, maybe they continually put you on the shelf, or like were in and out of your life, or would come and go, treated you as like a booty call or something, and you're kind of like, okay, are you a toxic, poisonous nightshade? Because, you know, you were like, I gotta eat something. You're like, well, maybe you're poisonous, but I gotta eat something. And you were hungry for some sort of connection. So you tried to make it work with this person for a very long time. And now I'm seeing that you're maybe really alone in your life. And you're also seeing through some fantasies, some choices, some illusion here with the Seven of Cups. You're seeing like that some things aren't as you thought they were. You could have been in this relationship 7 years, 7 months, 7 days, or just the number 7. There could be addiction here. It could be with you or the other person. I'm not getting so much you though. You know, it could be you're addicted to this person. That there was an addiction to the cycle. I'm also hearing wear and tear. I think there was wear and tear on you, on your nervous system, being in this dynamic. Public recognition. You're headed towards a different path than this person. You may be headed towards a life where you're known to the public, but I can feel the pain that being separated and alone from this longer term dynamic is not ideal. And it's, you know, you may be someone who feels like they don't know who they are unless they're with this other person. But I'm also getting that there's something else coming for you. There's something coming for you, another dynamic that will be more positive, another romantic relationship that you just have to open your eyes, because I'm feeling that this person is not a stranger. And it does have to do with loving yourself, loving and accepting yourself, and loving and accepting the other person for their flaws. This may be someone who's coming, the pretty person that's coming into your life. They may be somebody who is very, you know, you may run by intuition, and then this person may run by logic, you know, run on logic and like sort of mental capacity. Maybe this person had trouble like actually sharing their thoughts or taking a stand in the situation with you. They didn't feel that they could be mentally or verbally engaged or truthful. They felt a little bit less than, I think, because you were in some other dynamic. So now, just to clarify, we were talking about a relationship ending that may be coming in on the coattails of some other changes in your life. Simultaneously, I'm seeing a new person that you already know coming into your life in a different way. I'm hearing the Annie Lennox song. It's like, I don't wanna, or actually it's a Bob Dylan song. I don't wanna wait in vain for your love. From the very first time I rest my eyes on you, boy, my heart said follow through. But I know now that I'm way down on your line. But the waiting feeling's fine, you see. I got cut off. The sun's gone down now, so it's a little darker, but I was thinking about like that song. I wonder if there's somebody from your past that you did have interest in that it wasn't the right time, or it wasn't the right dynamic, or maybe some feelings got hurt and there was like crossfires here. But this is the person who is now entering your life. So that's exciting. I'm just seeing somebody, the new person that's entering your life, you know, they're funny and they're smart. They have like a vast knowledge of something that's obscure. I don't know what it is. I'm just hearing vast knowledge. It could be like they like to read mystery novels and they've read all of Agatha Christie, or like maybe they have like memorized something, or maybe they, you know, like memorized the number pi. Or niche interest that's unusual, collecting stamps. But this person, it feels like a more free energy. I feel like also waiting in vain could be that you were waiting in vain consciously for this other person that it ended with. You were waiting for them to get it together, for them to be more serious, for them to be more involved, and then at a certain point you were like, I'm not gonna wait anymore. I'm just feeling like you're like scared to be on your own, and you may not have been on your own a lot in life, so it makes sense. And I think that it's also not healthy to stay in things that aren't working anymore. Yeah, more about that song. You know, of course, I think of Bob Marley, who had a cancer on his toe, and he didn't want to get it removed. I think it's part of his Rasta religion to wait and see, and it metastasized and turned into, you know, a greater, or I don't know. I think it just went to maybe his bloodstream or something, but he didn't get it cut off, and he died of cancer. I'm almost feeling like some energy here similar with this old dynamic where there was negativity and no one really did anything to get it cut out. And maybe you tried, actually. Maybe you tried to get in there and, like, with some tweezers or pliers and get, you know, like the game operator, like, get that negativity out there. But it kept growing and it kept metastasizing into the relationship. It became unwieldy. I keep getting interrupted, so I feel like this dynamic of this old person is like you kept getting interrupted. Things kept happening where, like, it was like, well, I guess you have to go there, or we have to not speak for however long, or you're gonna, yeah, I'm just getting cut off energy, and I don't think it's really anything you did. I'm also getting a feeling of like The Odd Couple. Did you ever watch that show? Probably on Nick at Night if you're around my age. It's like about these two grumpy friends who like try to live together because they're like divorced. One of them's a divorcee and one of them's never married, and you know, they become closer and they're grumpy and they have problems, but they do like work it out. I'm getting that energy here. I just felt some guides come in, so now there's sort of a higher dimension coming into the reading. There's something with your third eye here, and I'm also seeing like Hand of Fatima and Evil Eye. Just like there's something here that's like opening up here psychically, and it has to do with trusting yourself and believing in positivity. The more you can let go of negativity, the more you can, you know, create positive experiences. It's almost like I'm saying, if you're gonna interact with others, you are being called to be the light of positivity, and a lot of times people will want to mirror that back, and it's going to make things a little bit easier. And I think that with this first person that you were with, you tried a lot to do that and it didn't catch on, because this person has something going on. This person from the past has something that this person you're moving on from, they have something tethering them. I'm almost feeling like I'm thinking Prometheus had his innards pecked out by birds as being sort of like, because he was, I think he had hubris, like he thought he was above the gods or something. I feel like this person from your past that you're moving on from, it may not be so much in the past. There may have been coming together and going apart and continually trying for a long time, but I feel that you're at a point where you're really done, and it's because it's reminding you of someone else. It's reminding you the way this person's behaving of someone from your deep past whose behavior you really didn't like, and you're like, oh, you're just like them. You're just like them. You're just like them is what I'm hearing. Like you this person's like evasiveness or ghosting or being unavailable is reminding you of someone from your past who did that, and you left that person from the past. Again, this is 3 people now. Someone from the deep past, someone from the recent past, and someone that's coming into your life in the future that you kind of know. There's something here about in terms of the third eye, like you're having spiritual awakening, not just like with being kind and letting go of negativity, but also you may be having like some new psychic insights, experiences, like seeing people's auras or like seeing people's experiences in your mind's eye, you know, just feeling people's feelings. I feel like this person that is new that's coming in, they're like very sensitive and intuitive, and you don't see it coming. I think that you've convinced yourself that that person doesn't care for you. You've also convinced yourself that this person that you've moved on from, you're moving on from, I'm hearing there's nobody like them. There's nobody like them. And that's fair. But I think this new person has something to offer that is similar, and you have a very good sense, you share a sense of humor, I'm hearing. Yeah. I was thinking of the Caribbean now. I don't know why. Maybe that's an important place. I'm thinking of Caribbean hang drums, like the pan drums. They're like, they make like sort of a, I'll put a link below. It's sort of a tin sound. Yeah, I went to this camp once when I was a teenager at Wesleyan for the arts. It was free because I was like poor. Anyway, they, you know, had a pan drum class, and I thought it was cool. And what's cool about that is that everyone does it together, and like it's the same melody, but like, well, there's a harmony, I think, that a different section of the group does, but it's a group activity. At least that was how it was taught, and it's really cool how the sound resonates. I feel that maybe you're wanting to be part of a community. Also, at the same place, we had this, I didn't take this class, but you could take this class. It was like this giant percussive instrument that it's many components, but it's one instrument. It's like glockenspiels and xylophone things, and it's like giant, and it's played by a group. I forget what it's called. It's at Wesleyan. Anyway, that was cool to see. I don't know why I'm thinking of this time at Wesleyan. It's interesting. You know, I also ended up going there a lot in college because we had my boyfriend and I at the time had friends there. I remember seeing The Seventh Seal in the theater there, and I must have talked about this before. There was also a German beer fest that day. It was really interesting. And then the girl that we were friends with was really into Russia, and she said that she was really cool. She had these like suitcases filled with like a Russian tea set. It was very like involved, like for adults. It had like many components. So I'm thinking of Russian dolls now. And the Seventh Seal could be like, this is really feels like doomsday with this person. Like it feels like it's really the end. And I think there's been many ends. Remember we got the 7 before, 7 of Cups. Maybe there's been 7 times you've broken up, or like, you've maybe been together 7 years, or, you know, I'm also hearing cats have 9 lives. So I don't know, maybe someone has a cat here, but like, Seventh Seal, also like death is following the people who are evading the bubonic plague. Maybe this person, you and them, it's just like no longer, it's not like fair anymore, you know. It's not fair to do to yourself, because you know, I'm thinking of in chess, it's sort of like we have to play fair, and it's sort of like if you're alone playing chess with someone else, you're just like hoping that they play fair. You know, you're not in a professional setting playing chess every time. I say that because the death plays chess with the people in Seventh Seal. Also, just with the German fest, it was, this is so long ago, but the girl that we were friends with and her boyfriend, the German fest was just like a bunch of sausages and beers, and I don't know, it just gave me a lot of indigestion because I can't eat either of those things, but I was trying to still at that time. And then, yeah, just that movie. There's something here about like, so going back to old places, you know, because I told you that I went to Wesleyan in high school for like, it was like 6 weeks or something, or maybe 2 months. I don't know. It was like this summer creative youth thing for like artists. I met actually a lot of people that I stayed in contact with later in life. But so there was that, and then years later I came back in college to just maintain this friendship that we had, my boyfriend and I, with this other couple. So there's something here about like going back to some place that you've been. That may just be maybe this person lives where you've been. Maybe you go to the old location where you spent time together. You know, maybe you just feel like you're in a new place vibrationally. But you had to go back and see what was what. You had to see what was there. You had to play chess with death before death won in this situation. Meaning, not that someone's died. Although, as I said, that could be. There could be someone who's lost a parent here that's affected the chance for intimacy. It's just coming through as a clear message. Also about just the friend, the girl who is obsessed with the tea set. There could be like many components here of this relationship, of this dynamic that are, it's too heavy to carry now. You know, it's too much for you to have all these suitcases, to have this tea set. You don't need like 80 plates, little china plates. And I'm feeling that it's become cumbersome to be involved. But then this newer energy, it feels like as time goes on and you accept yourself more and more, you're actually detaching from the idea of relationships. And it sounds bad, but it's not the worst thing, because that detachment brings someone new, I'm feeling, who again is somebody that you have known and is sort of like a secret admirer. So this is about choosing between two worlds, two decisions, two realities. Maybe you couldn't see before that this newer person was a choice. You know, you also felt like to leave your old relationship would be sort of sacrilege. I'm hearing a song called Going Across the Mountain. It's going across the mountain, oh, when I'm through. When this war is over, I'll come back to you. Going across the mountain. Anyway, it's just sort of like that. When this war is over, I'll come back to you. Going across the mountain. When I'm done, when this fighting's over. Anyway, there's something here. This newer person. It's like, when this fighting's over, I'll come back to you. Maybe you sort of thought subconsciously, like your soul, your higher self was like, when this fighting with me and my person is over, I'll come back to you. But I don't think that was conscious. I think there's some energetic part of yourself that thought, this person's interesting. But I think there's a disconnect between what you think can happen and what you observe. I think you have a recurring thought when I check your energy of, I don't deserve that. That would never happen, and I should just take what I can get. I should accept what I can get. And it's like, no. No. There is, Page of Cups. Somebody offering love. Somebody with youthful energy, joie de vivre. Someone creative, sensitive, who is a little maybe immature, or maybe they just don't feel like, they feel like sheepish in their feelings. Like they feel like you may reject them, but they are offering it to you. And it does have to do with a greater feeling of abundance. If you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come. That's coming before my readings. It's like the Kevin Costner movie, Rebuilds the Field of Dreams, and people come and use it. But he builds it in the middle of nowhere. There's something about the middle of nowhere here. We're on a road to nowhere. Lots of music in this reading. You know that song, Talking Heads? We're on a road to nowhere. You felt like you were on a road to nowhere in your life. It had to do with this relationship, because maybe at one point you had the goal of marriage, or I don't know, something more concrete, and this person was not willing to give that to you, was not interested, even if it's not just, a real marriage, like maybe it's just a common law marriage. This person would only commit so much, would only be involved so much. And at a certain point you were juggling maybe feelings for someone else. Maybe this new person at one point you did entertain feelings. There's somebody that's watching what you're doing, like your internet activities, or just Googling you, or just like, you know, maybe it's multiple people, but you, we got 6 of Wands before. You're coming into a time where you're ready to be known in the world. And I'm almost feeling like it's too much for this old person. So there may be jealousy issues, or this person may be like, you know, they may have something going on that, like there may be, the person that you're breaking up with, there may be something about investigation or research, like here, like there may be another person. This is about, like, you know, battle energy, battle vibes, like with a group, bad communication, negative energy, a fight. This old person that you're leaving, they like to fight, they like conflict, and then they like to say that you're the one who likes to fight. They like to create conflict. They like to create situations where they can say that you're conflict oriented. And they do that by doing things that would make you mad, because they know you so well that they know what makes you mad. But it's a little vindictive and cruel, and this has kept you up at night, this relationship, and it's too bad. You know, you can't get that time back, but I feel that now you're really ready to, something's changed with the 9. And I said before, a cat has 9 lives. That doesn't mean we have to go back to old situations. I see it more as the 9th life. You know, up until then, we're really just trying to get it right. And the 9 here, there's something about like selfhood, being on your own, that like you've had to learn through this person abandoning you over and over, perhaps, that it's okay to be on your own. And you've been alone, actually, in this relationship. You've been isolated, and you maybe even lived with them, but you've been, you know, this is a heartbreak. This is reversed. It's like recovering from heartbreak. Maybe this old person, you connected because you had some brokenheartedness about your own past, your family, or just some brokenhearted relationships, and so it's almost like it left you vulnerable to someone's sort of negativity, and you put up with it for a long time. And then I was gonna get towards the investigation, maybe that this person's involved with someone else. 3 of Cups. This person may have someone on the side, or it could just be a friend also, or like a enmeshed family member that comes first. Or it could be addiction, but there's something that comes before you, or there's something it's like too many things go, too many variables, but you're not a priority. You're not a priority because this person has issues, and now you're finally seeing that you're wasting your time, is what I'm hearing. The Star. You know, I was just thinking of Raffi. What's that song? Baby beluga, oh baby beluga in the deep blue sea. Swim so wild and you swim so free. Okay. The newer person that's coming into your life, when I talk about the old person, my energy gets so constricted, and like this person constricted you. They made you feel tight and bound, and there's a great Anais Nin quote: the day comes where there came the day when the bud could no longer be so tightly closed and had to open. I'm saying it wrong, I'll put it below, but it's like you just can't be in this constricted place anymore, vibrationally or energetically. You may want to stay in this situation, but your energy is moving you out of it, whether you like it or not. And this is fated, this is destiny, this is spirituality, what's going on here. Moving away from this relationship, it's moving you towards community. It's moving you towards being someone who thinks outside the box, okay? I'm also, with the Baby Beluga song, it's like, swim so wild. You can swim, you're swimming wild and free now, and it may feel scary, actually. deep blue sea. You may have spent a lot of time in like nature, like in the ocean or something with this person, but I'm just getting like there's something about going to the ocean. There's something about things being taken away. Think of that movie Roan Inn, The Secret of Roan Inish. It's so stupid, but it's like, it's not stupid. I mean, it's just fantastical. It's from when I was a kid, and it's like this Irish island where there's this like Selkie folklore. Selkie is like a woman that turns into a seal or something, or like a mermaid kind of thing. Yeah, there's something like a siren's call here. Something about like following the call of your heart towards something new, towards following your North Star, following your path, getting on the yellow brick road, and then realizing that the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain is not all he's cracked up to be. That maybe this other person who put you at a distance, pushed you back. You go over there, I'll go here, I'll go my place. This is really some old energy from your childhood where there was some caregiver who was not available and pushed you away. And until you see that is the reason you keep going for this person who is unavailable emotionally, then every other person, including this newer person whose energy I'm feeling, is going to feel threatening because you don't know how to love that way right now. I'm also thinking of the comic book Archie, which I was obsessed with as a kid. And just like that duality of Betty and Veronica, blonde and brunette, I mean, these people could have different hair types, but it's just sort of like, here's you're not gonna think what I mean, because you may be thinking, oh, is this supposed to say that like I should just have two relationships because Archie had Betty and Veronica simultaneously, or went back and forth? No, I'm thinking more that Archie is just this kind of normal guy who's not that great really, but Betty and Veronica idolize him, they are obsessed with him, but it's sort of like, if we step back, it's like they're the interesting ones, and their dynamic and their tension and their friction and their personalities, they're really interesting. And Archie just, you know, he's just kind of this guy. So is it possible that this person from this past, from your past, is you know, just this guy or woman? They're just this person, and you may have put a lot of projections onto them as to what it means to be with them. I'm also thinking of like just like seeing just a road again, the yellow brick road. On the road again, I can't wait to be on the road again. Yeah, the movie Shrek. There's something here about you transforming your body, or your face, or your what you look like, because you didn't feel beautiful. And like, as you do, I'm also feeling like there was this new person may have said things that really hurt you. So this is getting a little convoluted here, that also this new person, they're very insecure, so they pushed you away because you were with someone else, if you're following me, because they kept trying to say, here I am, I love you, I care about you, I'm right here. And you thought that would never happen, that can't ever happen. So you just kept going towards this old person. And at a certain point, this new person became frustrated and started saying kind of crummy things. So this person actually has a lot to say in terms of like apology, and would hope that you would accept, you know, that you would offer forgiveness, because I'm just hearing hurt people hurt people. So there may be someone, you know, that you had connection with, that they put their foot in their mouth, they said something that was not that nice, and you cut them off or something. But, you know, I'm also just thinking that energy that they put towards you that was negative was about their own stuff, that they feel less than. They feel that you're rejecting them just by not choosing them. I'm getting an energy of somebody very innocent, and somebody And then I'm also getting an energy. I'm getting like, would you rather be with an old man or a baby? And this may be astrological here. There may be someone who's high on the, like, you know, they're like an Aquarius or a Pisces, and then the next person may be like under the equator, which is anything under Libra, like Virgo. All the first 6 signs are under the equator. They're like the young signs. They're learning. They're learning about life, and then everything above the equator is learning about, like, who am I in this world? It's not just who am I, it's how do I give back to this world. So it's kind of a convoluted reading in general because I kept stopping and starting, which changes the energy. But I think that overall, as you move towards this newer situation, you'll find that being in a relationship where somebody continually cuts you off is not rewarding, because you'll see the contrast of that, because you'll see what it's like to have somebody pursuing you and hoping to be with you and looking for you. And I don't think that's something that you've experienced as much, because you may have chosen people who were evasive or unavailable because you actually felt more comfortable being put on the sidelines rather than being somebody's queen or king. You know, rather than, you felt more comfortable being someone's like scullery maid, which has to do with you and your self-esteem. You know, it has to do with your roles growing up, that maybe you were like parentified or something, which can create like a situation where you feel like you don't deserve. Or if not that, it could be that like you were just isolated as a young person, so you went early into relationships. You may have gone into relationships without like so much knowing the person that well. I see in your future, like, coming up for you beyond like a new relationship. I see like more ease and more finality and more decisiveness, which seems to be starting with the universe asking you to move on from this situation. And I think that it's like, you need to learn that sometimes people do love each other and they just change. And I think that's part of why you're not moving on, because you're thinking that if you go into something else, that will change and grow too. And you're right, it will grow from what it is. But sometimes things grow towards the good. They don't always grow, you know, towards the bad. That's something to think about. I just think that the more that you learn that loving is a verb, love is a verb, to love, the more that you'll learn it's really the only activity that we should be doing here in this life, on this earth, is loving. And if you're not doing that, you better find a place to put that love. And it may not even be in a relationship, you know. Maybe you're not ready to be in something new, even though I'm telling you this new energy is coming towards you. Maybe you put your love into something like art, or your job, or I don't know, some friendship or community, or even a dog or a cat. But you have to find some place to put your love. Otherwise, I'm just feeling like you're not going to be connected, and you're not going to know that that's what makes the world go round. Because this other person, I'm feeling that they're disconnected from their heart. They're caught up in some power scheme of hurting people in the way that they've been hurt, and it's not healthy anymore. There is a new person on the horizon who you're going to have to do some work to let them in, because let me tell you something, this isn't going to be perfect either. But it's also not going to be a dynamic where someone's pushing you away in what sounds like a sort of abusive way, where you're left alone. And, you know, you're not leaving something behind that was so great and working out so well. And I'm feeling like that you've been lonely a lot in relationship, not just this relationship. It's going to be a shock to be with a person who, you know, wants to be with you all the time. And that may be new too. You may have to start finding ways to have that alone time, whereas before it was more like your partner was not around as much. This could also have been you had a partner who was in the military, or they just traveled for work, or they just worked all the time and didn't really make the time. But I'm getting resentful energy. Someone who just felt that a relationship was too many demands upon them, and it's negative for you. And I'm hearing I'm just like hearing some Archangel Michael being involved in this reading. Also, Saint Thomas of Aquinas. I had that book. I don't know what happened to it, but it's similar to Saint Augustine. Maybe they're both in this reading. But there's something here about like a city. I think City of God is Saint Augustine's book. It's like there's a city. Maybe you're going towards a city, or maybe you are thinking of like the city of humanity in a sort of more oblique way. Like, you know, if this civilization, this world is running on fumes, like you're picking up on that, and believe me, it is. And I think that within leaving this dynamic, you're having more compassion for yourself, and it sounds like a bit of an abusive relationship. You're having some self-awareness of what you've been through, and you're wanting to give back to the world, and just trying to find a place to funnel your love. And I hope you do, and I know you will, and I'm thinking of you.